It wasn't as fun as she'd hoped. In fact, it was a little unnerving. Walking through long, narrow hallways of glass and cages, listening to the sounds of unseen critters chattering through the night. While passing the gator pond, Jay shone his light through the water, and two glassy white eyes beamed back in a shroud of black. They all jumped. It was decided. No more lights into the aquariums. And as much as it helped, there was no stopping their light from shining up above them when they walked under the shark hall, staring up at silhouettes of great whites and tiger sharks just floating by. Olivia chuckled a bit to herself when she noticed Jay and Connor walk just a bit faster. Just as the 3-year-old's drawing predicted, they rounded the corner to a big archway. In big bloody red letters, it read, "Cats Carnival." Some animated tigers dressed as clowns stood as cutouts for family photos. And as the three passed under the sign, a low purr echoed through the great space. It was massive, at least a football field's worth of habitats and enclosures. Olivia had never been here before, but she imagined it held the usual suspects: lions, tigers, cheetahs, maybe even cougars and bobcats. Her theory was confirmed when Connor froze in front of a plaque, breathing heavy. "Panthers. Guys, there's panthers in there." He sounded so fascinated by the thought of them, fingering the words on the little plaque before shining his light through the bars. Olivia and Jay stood behind him as they took it in. A miniature jungle, beautiful even in the dark. A bubbling creek brimming beneath ferns and mangrove trees. Bright flowers and orchids hanging from the bark. Great thick trees climbed skyward, vines strung around like Christmas lights. But no eyes staring back. Thank goodness, Olivia thought, slightly relieved. "Oh, look," Jay pointed, and for a second Olivia's heart skipped a beat. But to her relief, she followed his flashlight beam to a grey door beside the cage. Bright red exit sign glowing above. Perfect. Olivia breathed a sigh of relief. Exited, to say the least, to leave the creepy night zoo. "Connor, let's go." She grabbed his hand and began to pull, but he wouldn't budge. Didn't even utter a word for a few good seconds. "See, Connor? I want to go in," was all he said. So casually, like he just ordered a milkshake with his burger at a restaurant. Olivia was so shocked she couldn't even get out a sarcastic laugh. She held his hand tighter as if he would just jump through the bars. "Connor, that's ridiculous, you can't be serious." No answer. "Look, if you're looking for a rebellious last hurrah, why don't we go to like the tortoises or birds or... Come on, have a little fun." He grinned, squeezing her hand back. Olivia was dumbstruck. He was serious, wasn't he? That was when the night really started. In the brief argument, neither of them had heard the emergency exit door open or close. They didn't see Jay slip away. They didn't hear him interject with Connor's idea. Realizing this at the same time, Olivia and Connor looked around the dark hall. Nothing. Until... Guys? They spun around so fast they nearly fell over, lights shining back into the panther enclosure, where Jay stood, staring back with real and genuine fear. Olivia had never run faster. She sprinted for the door while Connor stuttered, trying to keep calm, throwing his light around the whole enclosure, now really hating that he couldn't see any cats. Jay was so still, Connor swore he wasn't breathing. Connor and Olivia slipped in the door, down the hallway filled with buckets and meat lockers, until they saw the door labeled Panther. Olivia, having apparently forgotten what fear was, went in without a second thought. Connor, determined not to loose both of his friends in one fell swoop, went in after her. But instead of holding the door, placed his flashlight as a stopper and jogged after Olivia, who was already halfway across the cage. She had Jay. She had scolded him thoroughly and was making her way back. Connor turned to get the door and felt his heart physically backflip when the flashlight wasn't there. When the door was closed, handless. Olivia noticed this in a matter of seconds, swearing aloud, which she almost never did. The three pressed their back against the wall, staring into the vast jungle, hearts beating so loud it was all they could hear when it came. Inky black and seamlessly gently. It moved like a shadow over water, creeping around a fern not 5 feet away from them, eyes glowing gold. Panther. So much bigger than Olivia imagined, so much more powerful. Jay screamed. Connor swore. Olivia couldn't do anything but stare, mouth dangling open. At least, that was before she passed out. Not from fear, not from the panther, but what it did. Once emerged completely, the thing stood on its 2 hind legs, calmly, human-like. Then the air shifted and their flashlights flickered. Then there was a swirl of black and the panther disappeared entirely. A woman stood before them, tall and sleek, with a beautiful tight black evening gown, hair done up neatly. She looked each one of them in the eye, confidence filling the air around her. "You must be the new recruits," she said, sounding bored. And that's the last thing Olivia remembered.